Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, we're at the start of a new Kit Quest career mode, and we're here in FIFA 22 doing, which should be, I think, a pretty fun one, with apologize to fans if I butcher the name here. Which is ironic considering I took Italian in high school, but let's try this. Salernitana, I think, is how I'm going to go with it. Salernitana is my best guess at pronunciation in FIFA 22. So let's kind of quickly introduce the team we just did, obviously, and then we just did the year. So we're gonna do the player and the kit and all that kind of good stuff. So if we go to the squad here, and they are in the starting lineup, which is a bit ironic, I would say. But yeah, so here it is. It's the Dragon, Radu Drăgușin here. So he was on loan here at Salernitana in the second half of the 21-22 campaign on loan from Juventus. Spent the first half of the season on loan at Sampdoria, which is why you can see like his kit in the picture there is like blue, because he was at Sampdoria for the first half of the season, and then had that loan canceled, and he went on loan to Salernitana, where it was like weird. So many like fans of the club can enlighten me more in the comments. But he like started off really nicely. He came into Salernitana and started the first 5 matches in a row, and I'd like played all 90 minutes. I'd say did decent enough. So they like drew 4 of them, and then the last one was like this was the problem. Like absolutely smashed by Inter 5-0. And then he like barely played the entire rest of the season. He had like I don't know if it was a start or a cameo appearance, but 31 minutes against Roma in April after that, and then 5 minutes against Atalanta in May. So I mean, like fans of the club, if you like remember like back to that time, like what happened? I guess that Drăgușin Radu got benched for like basically most of the rest of the season, but he had a strong start, so he made appearances. That's what counts for my kind of goal to collect like the history of like all the Europa League winning players and kits. So this is a part of his journey that led him to Tottenham and all that. So we're doing it. Even though like that was weird. That my like headset turned off there. So I don't know. It might be almost out of battery. So we're gonna like potentially plug it in here for a second. Hold on. Yes, that was weird. So I'm just gonna plug in, I guess, for the rest of this. So it's gonna be like a bit of an awkward angle for here for me. But yeah, so as I was saying, like this is part of his like journey that led him to Tottenham. So that's why we're doing it here. So again, like if fans of the club could kind of potentially light me in the comments as to why he like ended up basically being benched after that decent, what it seems to be decent enough start time of the club. But yeah, so the kit is also this nice home kit. So if you go into the squad hub, you should be able to see it a little better. There's Radu. So yeah, it's a nice kind of maroonish home kit with the badge and all that stuff on it. So pretty dope one. See, like made I think like a basically even amount of like one more appearance in those starts in the home. Like 3 were in the home kit and 2 were in the away kit. So I think we'll go with the home kit because he made more appearances in that. And even yeah, so that's where kind of the logic wrong here, especially because like they wore it like in the big, I'd say a big draw against Milan that year. So that seems to be a good like enough reason. As I think he didn't really score any goals or have any assists in any of those matches, but yes, he's the Kit Quest player. So in terms of what else to cover here, I guess. So as you can see, the top the FGO manager is Edward Teach. So this is gonna be a kind of interesting one, I think. Or in terms of like obviously his past slash future clubs that we're gonna like try and pull players for transfers from. Are obviously Juve, where he was on loan from, Sampdoria, where he was on loan for the first half of this season, and then obviously he went out on loan and then was actually bought by Genoa and then Spurs. So those would be the 4 clubs. And then in terms of like kind of potentially national team players to make it interesting and fun. Basically, if you don't know, Edward Teach is one potential like name, like his actual first and last name for Blackbeard, the famous pirate. Like when you think of pirates, you probably think of Blackbeard. And he was seems like most likely born in England, so we'll pull English players if you can. But that's kind of slightly boring, obviously, because England's like one of the bigger nations and stuff. So to make it potentially, I think, more fun and interesting, also because obviously he was a pirate. He didn't really say like he's most known for his time in the Caribbean or the West Indies, as it was kind of known back in the day when he was pirating it up. So yeah, we're gonna try and I think pull players from like it's like 13 or 11 countries I think that make up the West Indies. So all of them are obviously gonna be smaller nations. Like it's like the Bahamas, like Haiti, Cuba, St. Lucia, like countries like that. So we're gonna try and pull players from there, and then I also will probably try to focus it more down like going through. I guess Wikipedia obviously is not like the most accurate source, but we'll kind of probably use that as a just a quick guideline. See potentially what countries in there he had like actually kind of it's like attacked or lived in or like did stuff in. Like a quick search, I think like he started out potentially like in the Bahamas, so that'll definitely be a country we'll try and pull players from. Yeah, so it should be an interesting one because there's a lot of obviously the Spurs doing a lot of buying in Italy. There's a lot of like players who play for both Tottenham and like potentially like Genoa or Sampdoria or Juve or whatever. So we can potentially get some like double crossovers there. And then obviously there's probably a lot of players that played for like Italian players that played for both like two or three, like potentially all three or four of those other Italian clubs. So that'll be interesting. And then yeah, the countries should be fun as well. And then I guess the last thing to check on here, that's we can look at the board goals and stuff. And then kind of talk about expectations for this first season. So let me go to my one page here so I can type this stuff in. So it's 2 players under 20. That's a pretty common one. So that's not bad. So like you probably saw in the finances and stuff, their budget's not the biggest. So signing like young players is probably an easy way to potentially grow our squad. So 2 under 20. Then they won 4 like youth academy players. That's easy enough because they just like one in each type of position. So I just do like 4 different short scouting missions and grab like one person from each. Brand exposure, get 3 clean sheets. 3 clean sheet. 3 away clean sheets, I guess, is the more important part. Which that is probably not going to be easy. But we will try our best and see how it goes. Financial, they want 3 mil in youth sales. That basically means like all 4 of those players are going to sign here in this first season are probably going to get sold in the second season for a profit to try and make us some money, which I guess kind of makes sense for a club of this size. Domestic success. Okay, what do we got? So let's go. So the initial season objective is basically avoid. I'm guessing it's basically try to avoid relegation. I think avoid being in the bottom part is probably like a little higher than avoid relegation, but like avoid relegation seems like the simpler way to put it. And then in the cup, they want us to reach the round of 16. 16 of the cup. And then within 3 seasons, so it's 1, 2, 3 seasons in, they want us to finish top, I'm guessing 5? We're going to put top 5 for now. They want us to finish in Europe. And continental success, obviously they're not in Europe, so not really going to happen this season anyway in terms of objectives. So if we look at, I guess let's go look at the standings. Here we go. Let's look at, I want the Serie A. So, oh no, so it's top 6, because top 4 will be Champions League, then 5th will be Europa, and 6th I'm guessing will probably be Conference League. So they want us to finish top 6 at some point in these first 3 seasons. Okay. So that'll be interesting. This should be a fun one, looking at all these board goals and stuff. But yeah, so in terms of this first season, obviously that season in Fans of Club, you're probably going to be more familiar than I am, but look at the Wikipedia page, they finished 17th and had like 3 different managers that year. So 17th obviously is like one above the relegation spot, so it should be a potential battle to avoid relegation here. But which we should potentially be fine, question mark, because we're like probably gonna through like luck of the sim engine and stuff probably win and or draw a couple games that'll be like they drew or lost. That should help increase our points total and potentially finish like probably in the bottom half of the table still, but not like in the relegation spots. I am like sincerely hoping, but we shall find out. But yes, in terms of the cup, they got knocked out like pretty early on, so I know reaching around in the 16 of the cup in this game, probably not in this first season, it's probably not going to happen either. So yeah, this first season should potentially be like a longer term one where like we're gonna try and build up, like as the board goal says, try and build up and get into a European competition, like the Conference League or the Europa League, and potentially win one of those as our path to a trophy. Because I think like trying to win Serie A is gonna be pretty hard. The Cup could always be a potential like surprise way to get to a trophy, but we'll see. But yeah, it's been a longer intro. I think this should be a lot of fun, an interesting one. So like more I want to talk about in the intro part here. But yeah, so it's gonna probably be a couple days, essentially a week plus for me. 'Cause it takes me a while to get through these, like especially this first season. But to get through the seasons, like during playing and simming on the matches and stuff. But for you guys, it'll be a couple seconds here. It'll be the 21-22 season recap, and we'll see if we can avoid the hypothetical drop. I guess because there isn't actually a drop, right? Because there is no Serie B in this game, right? So actually we go to the Serie A thing. Yeah, so there is no drop. But what I do think will potentially be an interesting, like, um, I don't know. Like, so if we end up finishing in the bottom three, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I don't know. So hopefully we don't finish in the bottom three, because I don't know if I'll end the series if we get relegated or whatever, because I probably get sacked. That's the case, but we'll see. But yes, hopefully we kind of avoid the bottom three and can kind of maybe make a surprise run in the cup. But we'll try and just kind of refresh the squad and start building towards qualifying for Europe in seasons potentially 2 or 3. So hopefully you'll find out how this first season goes in a couple seconds. Okay, so here we are at the end of the 2021-22 season. And this should be a quick recap because we're only in 2 competition stuff, so let's get into it. So if we, I guess, go to standings here, as you can see, we finished basically, I guess it's an even number. It's not like there's no real like a whole number of median, but you basically finished exactly in the middle of the table. The 10th place finished in Serie A, which was much better than I honestly thought. But yeah, so we finished 10th. Kind of an interesting season, as you can kind of see looking at the stats they show us here. So we had basically a pretty much even season: 13 wins, 10 draws, 15 losses. So basically almost even across the board. Then as you can see, I think if we look, yeah, guys, go to the top to the heart of the table here-ish. Yeah, okay. So we had basically tied for the second best attack in the league. So we had 74 goals for, which is the same as Napoli, who finished in third and got in the Champions League, and is only 3 behind Inter, who finished fifth in the Europa League spots. But as you can see there, our defense was like legitimately, I think, the worst in the entire league. Like if we go down, let's go down to like the relegation area, even though there is no relegation because Serie B isn't really in the game. As you can see here, the teams that finished in the bottom threes conceded 73, 66, and 70 goals. We conceded 78. Yeah, so we had like absolutely bananas season pretty much. So we were really good going forward, but basically just as bad, just as good at conceding goals at the other end. So with a -4 goal difference, but so I kind of know where we need to work on in upcoming seasons is to tighten up defensively because we clearly have a decent attack, but that also might not last for long as when we go into looking at the players and stuff, we'll see. But yeah, so that'd be room for improvement for next season to try and at least get up into 6th. Because Italy has 6 European spots in this game, so we had to improve a couple of spots to hit European places, which would probably be our easiest route to silverware and is a board goal. I think by the 3rd season they want us to be in Europe, so we're going to have to keep working for it next season. But as I just said, next season it's kind of going to give a good hint as to what happened with the Cup. So let's get into it. I guess we should go back for a second. We probably saw it briefly, but yeah, so Juve won the league by, was that 9 points over Atalanta and Napoli. But I honestly had no idea what was going on with the Torres season because I was like nowhere near it. But yeah, so basically the 7 biggest clubs basically finished in the top 7, unsurprisingly. And then looking at the bottom, it was, if there was relegation was the thing, Empoli, Spezia, and Genoa would have all gotten relegated, but it's not. So now looking at the cup, as you can see here, Inter beat Napoli 2-1, and so in terms of the cup, so we started and ended in round 1 against, it was the first match of the season against Venezia, because I was like, through my somewhat genius idea to go into the cup/tournament mode like on the home menu to figure out like how many rounds are actually in the Coppa Italia in this game. I figured out that round 1 is basically in this game is equivalent to basically round 2 in the actual cup, which is where they reached that year, Salernitana, and got knocked out by Genoa 1-0 in the second round. So I quick simmed the match, and we lost 3-1 to open up our season. So we got knocked out in the cup round 1, and then so the rest round didn't really matter. So Inter beat Napoli. So that's the two competitions we're in. So no trophies. This will be going on to another season. In terms of the other stuff, the Super Cup, Chelsea beat Villarreal. Champions League, Real Madrid unsurprisingly won, beating Liverpool in the final. Europa League, Leicester beat RB Leipzig. And then the Conference League, Feyenoord beat Frankfurt. So good stuff there. But yeah, so we're going to have to do another season, obviously, because we didn't win any trophies. So it should be interesting to try and improve. Basically, the defense, I think, is going to be our probably biggest area of improvement, considering we conceded the most goals in the entire league. But looking, I guess, next place to look at is board goals, I guess. So, like, allow us to touch on transfers as well. But so youth development signed 2 players under 20. I will say one of those was signing Radu on a permanent from Juve, so that was one. The other one we'll get into when I go over transfers. The 4 players in the youth academy didn't get to complete it because our youth scouts were kind of buns, and it's like not easy to like really target people positionally in this game with the youth academy, so I couldn't get. I feel like I was missing a forward, so that sucks. Brand exposure, get clean, a streak of 3 clean sheets in away matches, as we saw there. We had to concede the most goals in the season, most goals in Serie A. So very unlikely that was actually going to happen. We were very close though. Towards the end of the season, I was able to play. Where is it? Yeah, okay. So I was able to play match week 33 away at Udinese and won 3-0. And then match week 35, which was our next away match, was away to Atalanta, which was like a slow sim draw. I didn't need to hop in, so we took a 2-0 lead and held on to it. But then on the last away match was last match of the season against Bologna, which was a quick sim. But we ended up drawing that 1-2-2, so we were this close to getting that. Surprisingly, even though our defense was so bad, but close but not quite. Financial, we didn't really make any profit from youth player sales, so just signing youth players, not really selling them. But next season, we'll start to do that and try to hit that. Domestic success, obviously, we didn't reach the round of 16 in the cup because we got knocked out in the first round. Then avoid finishing the bottom part. We finished mid-table, which was good. And then long term is that within 3 seasons, they want us to qualify for Europe, which we obviously didn't do this year, but if we can improve a little bit in the defensive department, maybe we'll be able to hit it next season. Then obviously no continental stuff because we weren't in Europe. So in terms of transfers, if you go to transfer history here, my club, and sort by date. Yeah, so all our signings, except for the second one to do the objective, were all players who were on loan that were at clubs that Radu was at previously. So I'm sorry. I do have a Polish friend. He's trying to help me with the pronunciations, but I probably am still going to butcher this really badly. All right, so Paweł Jaroszynski. We're trying that. He obviously was at Genoa, where Radu was at when Spurs bought him. Brought him in for 630,000. Most of them had like sell-on clauses of some kind, but kind of mixed them up at points. I don't really know which one's which. But there were 4 of the players who were brought in had sell-on clauses of either 14, 6, 16, or 1%. Radu, we brought 2 mil from Juve. Bonazzoli here, Federico Bonazzoli from Sampdoria, which was where Radu was on loan for the first half of the 21-22 season IRL. Castanos, obviously also from Juve for 1.3 mil. And then our other signing that was under 20 at the time of the signing was Janelle Bennett here from Spurs for 810,000 euros. And the logic here is he's a Spurs player, so that's the one connection. The second one is his not that like a while ago, Sophie added like dual, like kind of if players had dual like eligibility for national teams, and he like his primary nationality in the game is English, but he's also technically dual eligible for Jamaica, which is a Caribbean nation. That's like which counts for it was like another kind of area we were looking to hit in terms of players. So yeah, he hits the kind of Jamaican like Caribbean area requirement as well. So he kind of did 2 for 1 there with that transfer, and he was honestly really good for us. I'd say low-key potentially our player of the season. Him and Bonazzoli were 2 players of the season. So he was really actually I also would probably give Bennett player of the season because he played a backup role where Bonazzoli was their starting number 9, and Bennett had a really good season, which you'll see when we get to stats. Then in terms of sales, we got Duric here to Storm Grotz for 160,000. Then some loans for various guys. Then this actually, I don't understand how he was in the how he was on our squad, because he's like supposed to be on some other team that I think might have been like a Russian team that then I think because of the whole Russian invasion where like the 22 editions of like NHL and FIFA guys got messed around with because of that. I guess maybe all the players that were like on those teams became free agents, and for whatever reason he ended up on our squad at the start of the career mode. So I sold him to RB Leipzig for 20 million euros. Then in the January window, and these last two transfers were like post the January window, so they'll be gone at the start of this next season. Was Joel Obi to Alaves for 2.4, Philippe Mikhail to Central Cordoba for 1.3. So good sales and stuff there. Obi never made an appearance for us at all. Mikhail did make a couple appearances off the bench. I guess that's all our transfers. The last up is, at least for this season stuff, is the kind of looking at stats. So yeah, goalkeepers didn't really sell themselves in glory too much in the sense that they gave a lot of goals and had like barely any clean sheets. But I'd say like in the match, especially the matches I played, they made a lot of saves because like we were frequently getting outshot by a lot, and they were making a lot of saves keeping us in matches. So even though their like average like score per game is only in the sixes, I'd say they were both very good for us this season. And in terms of center backs, there's Radu down here, decent, not great season obviously because our defense is bad, but played in 24 matches and was part of 2 clean sheets in the league, which is good. But hopefully next season he'll continue to improve and he might end up being our starting. So you can see here, our starting center back pair was these two guys here from like the entire season. Their overalls have hit the tank. So realistically, our starting center back pairing next season might be Radu and this guy here, because their overall should stay the same, and then Radu should continue to grow, so they should be our starting center back pairing next season. Hopefully that'll help us from seeing as many goals. And then our right backs, both pretty decent seasons, I'd say. Our midfield was really solid because like our midfield was pretty good for the most part. That was like that's probably the strongest area of our team, at least heading into next season. So all these guys, obviously, a lot of them having good goal contribution numbers, kind of popping in the box from the attack on the break and stuff. Castro with his 9 assists was actually in the top 10, if I go to standings. Yeah, he was second in the league in assists with 9, behind Tammy Abraham and Munayin from Inter. So pretty solid season for him there. And then, so yeah, so here's one of our stronger attackers who's obviously also on the decline, Diego Perotti. So he had a decent season, but he's also declining. And then Frank Ribery, obviously, is retiring at the end of the season. Neither of the other guys that are declining seemingly are, but they probably, I'm guessing all 3 of them probably will be retiring at the end of next season. But Ribery, good season for us, 9 goals, 5 assists. But obviously is going to be leading the team. He's our best player in terms of overall for most of the season, so it's going to be a shame to lose him. But I think if you kind of have Perotti, and then if Bennett continues to grow, they'll probably be a decent replacement on the left side, and it's going to need some right wingers for next season. But as you can see here, Bennett 12 goals, 3 assists, and mostly kind of a backup role. Like he was like basically in our B team, and I'd rotate and then would come off the bench a lot. But he had a lot of clutch goals and assists in the various matches, so I'd say he was probably our player of the season. And he should continue to grow and become potentially become our best player. But in terms of actually look at like the average ratings, Bonet's the latest player of the season with 21 goals in the league, which was 4th. So pretty solid season for him. And then his 6 assists was also in the top 10 league for assists as well, so good stuff from him. But yeah, so heading into next season should be interesting because like we do have a lot of these aging players who are probably gonna end up retiring at the end of the next season. Then our best player Ribery is retiring as well, so we're gonna have a lot of work to do next season in terms of building up the squad, because we are gonna obviously have a lot of holes in the defensive area because our defense is not good at all, and then our best attackers are declining. So it's like a very interesting club to be working with here, but it does make it a lot of fun. But just to wrap up this section of the video, we're going to advance to next season and look at next season's objectives. Is we don't have any players that are coming. They were like in on loan because all of them ended up getting sent back to their parent clubs. So they like barely played any of them. So that's what that is. But let's get in here. We shouldn't get sacked. I think we're at an 84 manager rating, and we finished mid-table. So let's just look at all the. Trying to lag a little bit because it's like a crap to emails from all the players coming back on loan from their loans and stuff. So yeah, so all our guys that are out on loan are back. We can get rid of most of these emails as well, so our inbox is clear. Now let's end the season. See, we shouldn't get sacked, right? Yeah, go on the season. You're delighted with our performance because we finished 10th and not like in the bottom 3. So we should be all set for next season. So let's kind of see what our board goals are. Is the kind of interesting thing. We can potentially talk about them, potential ideas for transfers and stuff quickly before I wrap up this section, and then a couple seconds after I finish talking. Here it'll be, for you guys, it'll be quick, the 22-23 season recap, but it's probably going to take me a while with all us losing a lot and stuff. But it is been a lot of fun, I would say, especially kind of playing, especially because their kind of tactics stuff are like basically sit in a low block and counter, which has been a lot of fun and interest. Like that's also why I've been giving up a ton of shots and stuff. But okay, this is the one with the most prize money, so obviously the one we're going to accept. Why would we edit the club, huh? I don't know, everything looks fine. That's weird. I don't know why the hell that was. I guess maybe if like you're like pretending you're gonna expand the stadium or something. I don't know. That's weird. But let's look at the goals. Okay. This one we're not doing, so we can just ignore it. Brand exposure. They want 10 wins in away matches. Okay. 10 away wins. We should hopefully be able to do that, you would think. Except not really, because that's actually almost like how many wins we got in the entirety of last season. But we'll see. Financial, that one's the same one as before, because that's like it was a 2-season one, so we should hopefully be able to do that one this season. The cup, obviously, want us to reach around a 16 again. And then they want us to finish mid-table this year. So which I think is probably around where we were, but probably try to improve upon that, get closer to the European spots. Because of success, there isn't anything there because we're not in Europe. So no like specific ones in terms of signings and stuff, which means I can kind of basically just try to improve the club as quickly as possible in the transfer market. So we're basically going to have to do, I think I'm going to need, so look at the squad here, I think I'm going to need 2 right wingers, a backup striker, and then, but like at least this is basically with like outgoings. We're going to need 2 right wingers and a backup striker. Other positions, we do have, I think, basically enough players for a squad at the moment, but some of them might be leaving. So based on that, we'll have additional like incomings, but we just have a lot of incomings in the forward line, which is probably not the area we need to improve, considering we had one of the best attacks in the league. But maybe we can kind of just put as Ange, kind of do an Ange and basically try and score more goals than the opposition, and like have the matches be like 4-3, 3, like 3-2, and things like that. But we shall see. But well, for you guys, you'll see in a couple seconds after I stop talking here. But for me, it's going to be a minute. We'll see how this next season goes. Maybe we can sneak a run in the cup. But if not, this fight is going to be more kind of progress trying to get into Europe and increase the strength of the squad to try and maybe win a domestic trophy. Okay, so here we are at the end of the 22-23 season, our second season of this Salernitana Kit Quest career mode. So only 2 competitions again, so it should be a quick recap. But as you can see here, we were able to kind of achieve our goal of moving up from mid-table, and we were able to finish in a European spot, which was like a board goal they wanted us to do in 3 seasons. We were able to do it in 2. Basically, we finished in 5th, which is the Europa League spot, which is really nice, which I don't quite necessarily understand how we finished in this spot. What are the tiebreakers in Serie A? We're about to find out right now. Oh, okay, so the tiebreakers are head-to-head points, which is then if you look at, because you see here we finished on the same amount of points as Lazio, but we have, so let's see, what is our head-to-head? Oh, our head-to-head, oh, so we each won a match, because we won the home fixture, they won the away fixture, which is the second tiebreaker. After that is then head-to-head goal difference, which they only won their match by 1 goal, and we won ours by 3. So that's why we're okay. So that's why we're in 5th rather than 6th. Okay, very interesting. But yeah, so we finished in 5th because we beat Lazio 3-0 one of our fixtures against them. But yeah, very excellent season here. So we kind of also did what I was saying. We still had looks like the second best attack in Serie A, but like we're able to tighten up our defense somewhat instead of basically having a goal, like a 0 goal. So last year our goal difference, last season our goal difference was -4. So we were able to score 4 more goals than last season, but concede 20 less because we had 78 goals against last year instead of this year we had 58. So we were able to improve our goal difference by 24 basically. So a very good improvement and finished in the top 5. As the Inter won the title by 5 points over Milan, and Napoli and Juve got the other Champions League spots, and then Lazio got what I'm guessing is a Conference League spot. But yeah, and then if you look at the bottom of the table, the bottom 3 teams that would have gotten relegated would be Sassuolo, Genoa, and Empoli, but there was no relegation, so they get to stay in Serie A for next season. Looking at the Cup, as you can see here, we didn't win that either, so this is going to be moving on for that 3rd season, which we will be in the European competition for the first time, so having 2 matches a week, which should be very interesting. But I see Milan beat Lazio in the final of the Coppa Italia, and we once again, where are we? There we go. Got booted in round 1. Again, all these matches for this entire season. I looked at the last 5. In most cases, it was like only 4 matches against these all these teams, and then checked those into the randomizer and basically did it based on that. And we got sim in that one, so I quick simmed the match, and we lost 2-1. So we got knocked out of the cup, and then ended up with Milan beating Lazio. Preseason is irrelevant. Super Cup, Real Madrid beat Leicester. Champions League, PSG beat Atletico Madrid. And then Europa League, Leverkusen beat Lazio on heads of the finals. Lazio made it to 2 finals and lost both, which sucks for them, but not really, because not a fan of Lazio. And then Conference League, Genk beat Athletic Bilbao in the final. So that's, I think, all the competitions. Yeah, we circle back around. So that's all the competitions. So in terms of board goals, let's look at those. So youth development, that one wasn't going to happen. Brand exposure, they want us 10 wins in away matches. We got 11. Financial, they want us to make the youth profit. That just didn't happen. I was able to sell one guy, but the rest, they just kept rejecting all the transfers, and they weren't really worth that much anyways, so that didn't end up happening. Net success, they want us to reach round 16 in the cup. Obviously, we lost in round 1, so that didn't happen. Then we were able to do the mid-table finish because we finished 5th, which is a lot better than mid-table. And then we were able to do the within 3 seasons qualify for Europe. We did it in 2 seasons rather than 3, which is very nice. And then continental success, I've seen on here. So none of those objectives were transfer related. So it's kind of able to have a lot more freedom with what I did with the transfer market. But let's kind of take a look at what we did. So first order of business, the positions we needed to fill based on incomings and outgoings was a right back, 2 right wingers, and a striker. So the striker assigned Antoine Hackford here on a free from from a free because he's kind of very similar to Janelle Bennett in the sense that he is English, but he's dual eligible for a Caribbean nation, in this case Trinidad and Tobago, so I assigned him on a free. Then sent Motok out on loan. Sold Guillaume here to Trabzonspor for 2.15. Ketcherita to Groningen for 1.05. Then brought in, he was from Haiti. What's his first name? Carlens Arcus from Auxerre for 4 million. Our big summer signing was for 20 mil. Basically, we swapped the guy we got for free for whatever reason from the game for him. So we sold him for 20 and brought this guy in for 20 as well. Levi Garcia, so he's a Trinidad and Tobago, so that's why he was able to come in from AEK Athens for 20 mil. And we also then went out and basically stole Genoa's probably best prospect, Yaya Cologne, because he got a 85 potential. I kind of figured because Genoa was one of the teams that finished in the bottom 3 last season, that if they actually gotten relegated, they would have probably have to sell him. So I went in and bought him for 6.6. And then the rest would be outgoing, so that's all our 4 players that we brought in. So Takio for 700,000, Vesely for 1.25, and then there's our one youth sale there. That's all our transfers. So in terms of the squad, just looking at stats and stuff. So Bellick, he did an positioning in the top. The 6 clean sheets was in the top 10 in the league there, but it wasn't enough for the Golden Glove. That was Mike Mignon of Milan, who had 11. And then, yeah, so let's look. So Fazio really down, but he doesn't seem to be retiring, which kind of sucks. But then we have Gagliolo, for whatever reason. He's a 72 overall, and his overall hasn't gone down at all. He's retiring at the end of the season, unfortunately, so we're going to need a new left back next season. And then Radanovic is also retiring, so we're going to need another center back. But Radu, which is kind of like crazy, because he's a higher overall and younger than this guy, but he's not retiring for whatever reason. But Radu keeps improving overall. He had a decent season, 6.1 on the average. Match rating, he scored a goal, which I was like off a corner, in our 3-0 victory over Torino in match day 1. So he kind of peaked first match of the season, and then kind of was just mostly defensive the rest of the season because I couldn't really get the magic from the corners anymore with him. I got it once but couldn't repeat it. Arcus, decent season in his debut. The midfield, a lot of them popping up with goals and stuff because this is their counter-attacking style. They pop up with late runs of the box and hit him with cutbacks and stuff. Or crosses. Then Bonin, hopefully he should be healthy by the time the season actually starts. I was on the end of a nasty challenge. Oh, that's the wrong. Yeah, that's the wrong set of fixtures. Oops. He was on the end of a Nazi challenge in our 3-1 win away to Genoa and had to be taken off midway through the match because he broke his ankle. He's out for, looks like 2 more months from now. Gino Bennett didn't have as much of an impact this season because of our 2 winger signings. So I ended up playing Cologne on the left and Garcia on the right because their overalls were higher. So, and then Parati, his overall is also tanking, but he's also not retiring. And then, yeah, so Garcia and Cologne, excellent seasons from both of them. In terms of stuff, yeah, so Garcia finished in tied for second in the assist column, and then Cologne won. Like, I don't know if Serie A actually has like an award for most assists like the Premier League does, but I don't know if Serie A does. But if they do, Cologne would have won that because he had 9 in 35 matches. And then Bonazzoli finished second behind Insigne from Napoli in the Golden Boot race. He had 26. Insigne had 28. So we had a lot of good individual seasons here. And then Hackford also, in limited appearances, had a decent season as well. So it's kind of, I guess, this advanced to next season. Let's see what our board goals are for next season, and then kind of talk about. Oh, let's see. Can I actually complete this? Let's see what happens here. I think they said 5 mil is what they want. Let's see, can we actually secretly complete the youth sales objective right now? Let's see what happens. I want 5 mil. No. Let's try remove the sell on clause. Let's try 4. Come on. Let's see, maybe this will get us that objective. Come on. That'd be sick if you like just complete it like right at the end. Hamburg, they want 4.2. I'm a St. Pauli guy, so we're gonna reject that offer. And we already have a transfer form, so sorry Hamburg, but as a St. Pauli guy, can't do that. And it looks like he got sold. So I wonder if that actually ended up letting us complete the objective. We'll probably find out here in a second. Alright, so there, Castanos is good, so he's all set. Which is nice, but yeah, look, oh sweet, yes, there we go. We actually were able to show you the youth one because that lane sale counted for it, which is nice. And I don't care about that. And then Motok returns from his loan. So let's end the season. And yeah, so they should be very happy with how we've done, so we don't have to worry about that. So we just I just have to advance, okay. But yes, let's see, this is season 3. let's see what our objectives are, and then kind of, I guess you talk about expectations based on those. Alright, preseason one, that wants the most money, obviously. The edit club thing, I don't know why that's a thing. I guess you want to, like, upgrade your stadium. But let's go to the email inbox for a second. And just get rid, that I don't care, that doesn't matter. Get rid of all those emails, okay. Let's look at the objectives, okay. Youth, I need that tab on my spreadsheet. Where is it at? Summary. Here it is. Okay, so what do they want from us? They want 2 players under 20, so they want 2 more youth revolution, and they want 1 youth defender. Okay, that should be easy enough. Brand exposure, they want 5 away clean sheets and 1 crucial forward. I don't know if that's going to happen because you don't really need any forwards. So that's we're probably not going to complete that one, but the 2 under 20 guys you should be able to do because you get like a younger, cheaper left back. And then, actually, I don't know who's to say because we're already a couple seasons in, like the amount of like actual like IRL players that are still under 20 that are going to be left, probably not a lot. So we'll actually see if I actually can complete this one or not. We'll see. Financial. Okay, so they want us to sell 2, sign 1 crucial, spend all budget. Okay, that's an interesting one. I don't know if we're gonna have that. So, oof, the board's not gonna be happy. I don't think so. I don't know how. Besides this, with the youth D guy, I don't know if we're gonna be able to complete any of these. Oh boy. And then, alright, they want cup quarterfinal. And they want us to finish top 6 again. And then the group stage, Europa League doesn't really matter at all. Okay. Yes, very interesting objectives. Most of them we're not going to be able to complete, I don't think, just because of like we are a couple seasons in now, so there's not going to be a lot of players under 20 left. And then like we don't really need any forwards and stuff, so yeah, we'll see. But in terms of expectations, we hope are basically like now that we are in Europe, what's basically probably going to be our best bet at a trophy, especially because we're like only in the Europa League rather than Champions League. Conference League would have been the best, but because this is like the old format, we could potentially drop down to the Conference League. That might be like another path. So Europe, either Conference League or Europa League, is I think our best path to silverware again, because I just don't think we're gonna be able to topple the kind of big boys, because we always also like get lucky and get like the 1 in 4 chance basically most of them have that I can actually play the match, because still they're trying to beat them all like once basically in the 90s. We're gonna basically lose to all the big teams, so we're probably not gonna be able to finish it like win a title, but we might actually get like a draw in the cup. We might be fine there. We haven't seemingly been able to do that either. So yeah, Europe this season, I think the next upcoming season is going to be our best chance at winning a trophy. But you guys will find out how our first European campaign goes in a couple seconds. All right, so here we are at the end of the 2020, is this 22, no, 23-24 season. And yeah, so let's get into it. Because I already moved to the results screen. So let's get into it. Yeah, so Serie A, again, I think we did basically very similar to how we did last season. Where we finished last season in 5th, and this season we finished in 5th again, just 3 more points than we had the year before. So very, very solid season, I would say, again, finishing 5th, especially because we were bouncing, obviously domestic and European competition this season. Like kind of ending up back in a Europa League spot again is pretty solid. You see Milan like absolutely walked the league, 91 points. It seems like it's basically very much like a defensive effort. As you can see, their goals scored is like 1/5. It looks like in the league, and their defense is like way better than everyone else's. So they rode on a defensive solidity. It looks like to win the title. As you can see here, we obviously did not do that because we scored the most goals in the league with 84, but also gave up looks like the most of anyone in the top half. Yeah, most Spain in the top half with 55. But that goal difference, I guess, like in the end, ends up, actually no, because goal difference isn't the tiebreaker in Serie A. It's like head-to-head matchups or some weird stuff like that. Yeah, it's head-to-head points. So we were at Lazio. Let's look at let me go to the fixtures list here. So next we lost to Lazio match day 31 at home, 1-3. Where Federico Fazio scored, I think, like his only goal this entire career mode. And then we drew with them match day away in Rome, match day 15, 1-1 with an Emil Bohinen goal, which both those are simulated matches. So we ended up, obviously they had 4 points to our 1, so they won the head-to-head points matchup, so that's why they're 4th and we're 5th, despite us having the same amount of points and us having, I guess even if it was goal difference, they have like 2 better goal difference anyways, so it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, so finishing 5th, another good season. Kind of entrenching ourselves amongst the big boys of Italian football with this. But obviously that means that's not silverware, so we have 2 more competitions. We have the Coppa Italia and the Europa League. So how do we do in those 2 competitions? The Cup should come first, right? So we go to the Cup. I guess you hear we were not successful in the Cup. Milan did the domestic double, winning the Serie A and the Coppa Italia, beating Lazio in the final 2-1. But how did we do? So we skipped round 1 this season because we were in Europe. So we actually finally made it past round 1 by default because we were in Europe. So we were in the round of 16 for the first time. And we got Venezia, which is like the only team pretty much like out of all the teams in this thing that we actually had like a winning, like Salernitana had a winning record pretty much against in their last 5 matches against that club. Like that's like, again, the system I use like to decide if I'm going to play or simulate a match or like slow sim and hop in to try and equalize is based on their last 5 record against that team, and I chuck it in a randomizer and basically play or sim accordingly. And yeah, every team, I think the only other team that they had a winning, yeah, I think yeah, it's literally yeah. So every team that either had like the same amount of wins as losses, or way more losses than wins, or even no wins at all and just a draw and a loss, except for Venezia, where the Salernitana had beaten them in all 5 of their previous matches from the 21-22 season backwards. So we actually finally then also had to win a cup match for the first time this season by doing so and playing them and beating them 3-1. That was in January. The goal scorers were Antoine Hackford with a brace, and then Castanos with the kind of killer goal to finish it off. Actually, that's not true. It looks like Castanos is with the second Hackford, like in between the 2 Hackford goals. So Hackford's brace was enough to see off Venezia. We made it to the quarterfinals then. After that, got matched up against Roma, where again they're like most of the basically all the big 5 clubs except for like Napoli and Milan. Like Salernitana's record against them was like, it was only 4 matches because it was the 21-22 season, like a season like in the 90s when they were in Serie A. It was like 3 losses and a win. So we got like the 1 in 4 chance to be able to play the match in the quarterfinals against Roma, and we ended up winning 3-0 with a brace from Federico Bonazzoli and a Yaya Colon goal as well. And Vid Bellic was man of the match because they had 14 shots. A lot of those were probably on target, and he kept them all out and got us through to the semifinals, where we ran into the freight train that was Milan. And again, like I said, all the big clubs, pretty much like your Lazios, your Milans, your Romas, your Juves and stuff. We had 3 losses and a win against. But with Milan, they were the ones we had. Salernitana had 3 losses and a draw against them in their last 4 matchups. So they're like our chances are very slim to begin with here because we have to get a draw and then hope like we could get ahead of them somehow in the sim. But we ended up getting the like 3 and 4 chance of not doing of quick simming the match. So we quick sim both legs because the Italian Cup is a 2-legged semifinal, much like the Carabao Cup in England. And we drew the first leg at home, as you can see based on the aggregate, 2-2 with a brace from Levi Garcia. So it's like, all right, maybe we have a chance. We drew in the first leg, maybe we can sneak a 1-0 win here, but obviously the 1-0 win went the other way, and we lost away at San Siro 1-0 and got knocked out of the cup. So Milan could beat Lazio and get the domestic double. So our last chance was the Europa League. This is preseason, which doesn't matter at all. The Super Cup, PSG beat Leverkusen. Champions League was an all-English affair, and Liverpool beat Chelsea 1-0, and was probably a pretty boring final for the neutral. But in the Europa League, it's going to be like I can't wait to tell the story about this. This is like absolutely incredible. We're going to go to the Europa League here, and boom! We won. So this is after this third season, successful Kit Quest career mode, we won the Europa League, and probably the most epic and sick and cool Europa League final ever. As you can see, the final score ended up being 6-6 after extra time, and we won 3-0 on pens, but you'll see the entirety of the penalty shootout in the footage at the end here. So basically, what happened was we actually got that the 1 in 4 chance. Like this is that was the fourth time we played Milan this year, because we played the 2 matchups in the league, and then the 2 matchups in the cup semifinal, which were all ended up being quick sim. Like in the league, we drew 2-2 at home on match day 5 in the league, with actually Radu, our Kit Quest player, scoring the equalizer to get Mexico a point in that one. And then we had the 2 matchups in the cup. And then literally, I think, yeah, it was like our second to last matchup in the league. Match week 37 was away to Milan, and we drew that 1-1. So, and those were all quick sim matches. So basically, they hit the kind of 3 out of 4 chance 3 out of 4 times. And then the fourth chance, which was obviously the most important in the Europa League final, we got draw. So I was able to hop into the match and try and equalize. And based on the final score, you probably can guess that had to happen a lot. So it's surprising we took a 2-0 lead early on with a Bonazzoli brace. He had bagged 2 goals like the opening 20 minutes or something crazy, and I was like, all right, we're smooth sailing. We could just, I guess, sit back, relax, chill, and not have to worry about anything for this final. I'm just gonna have to hop in at the end to get the footage. But nope, Milan stormed back, and it was level 2-2 at the end of the first half. And then 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes at the most into the second half, Milan take a 3-2 lead. And I'm like, poop. I gotta get in, play, and hopefully try and kind of equalize here quickly, so then we can go back to the sim where we were doing decent enough because Bonazzoli's broke through twice, and try and keep it going. So I'm playing and playing. I ended up giving it up which you also I'm pretty ends up seeing in the footage. I don't know if it was Tyler Adams currently of Bournemouth or it was some other person named Adams, but ended up giving up a second goal, which would have been a fourth goal? Yeah, a fourth goal in total in the match to Adams to make it 4-2. So I was down by 2 goals, and I was mad nervous and just pressing and pressing and pressing to try and score. We ended up scoring. I think it was scoring whatever minutes will be in there. It was a kind of cutback in the box from Cologne, I think, to Bonazzoli. He turns and spins and shoots immediately, and gets one past Mike Mignon to make it 4-3. And then we got a couple of corners right at the end, which I couldn't score from because they short corners, try to get it in the player in the box and just whip it in and score that way. But then Milan bring the ball up the pitch with no time left, but I'm able to win it back high up the pitch, play a through ball to Schiavone, who kind of breaks in, goes into the box, and smashes a shot past Mike Mignon to make it 4-4 right at the end. In that, literally in the 90th minute, I'm pretty sure. So the celebration goes crazy. I'm all hyped and shit. So we get to the obviously end of 9 minutes, 4-4. Then we go to extra time, and we take the lead again through the sim with Bonazzoli again. So that would be his 4th goal of the match, because obviously he scored the 2 in the slow sim in the first half. Then I scored his hat-trick goal to make it 4-3. Then he scored again in the sim to make it 5-4 Salernitana, in the beginning of the first half of extra time. And then I was like, all right, sweet, we scored extra time. We should be, again, secure, hopefully, because it goes pretty quickly in the sim engine. So I thought we were going to pretty much speed through it and make it through with no problems. But then Rafa Leao scores 2 goals in, I think, the second half of extra time to make it 6-5 Milan. I then hop in again to try and play. And again, at the last possible second, get another chance, get the ball to the man of the match, Bonazzoli, and score right at the death again to make it 6-6. And we were headed to extra time at the Europa League to penalties, the Europa League final. Then you'll see the penalty shootout for yourself, so I don't have to go too much detail. But the Milan shot first Timo Werner blasted it like off the post. Because thankfully Timo Werner had his actual Timo Werner shooting boots on and smashed it off the post, and then made 2 saves with our buddy Vidabelic to deny it, and was able to coolly slot all 3 of our penalties home and win the Europa League final, which is the most epic Europa League final play ever going to play in this game. So super high way to end it. Because this series is a lot of fun, playing with such a small club and building them up over this like 3 seasons like we did here to reach the Europa League final and topple one of the big boys of Italian football in Milan to win it in such epic fashion was super cool. But yes, that's kind of all the competitions we're in. Oops, I guess I should probably show the Conference League, 'cause that's the only other competition only we didn't touch on briefly. So the Conference League, Frankfurt beat Galatasaray, but here they're there. So yes, successful Kick Quest career mode with that epic Europa League final. So in terms of board goals and all that stuff, use amount, they want us to sign 2 players under 20. We technically completed that, which I'll go into in the transfers in a second. And then sign one youth player in the youth academy to the defender. Obviously, I was like to send out a scout and sign a couple of the players for the scouting report, and one of them was a defender. Brand exposure, 5 clean sheets in away matches. We got 6, which is nice. And then they wanted to sign 1 crucial first team player assigned to a forward position, which I did not do because our forward line was pretty good. As you can see, we didn't really need a new striker because Bonazzoli is just elite. Probably one of my favorite players I've used in this in my time playing these FIFA career modes, because banging in 5 goals in a European final and what did he won the Golden Boot last season, right? No, that's right. He was like 2 off, but basically being in the Golden Boot conversation with 26 goals in the league last season, scoring 5 in the Europa League final this season. One of my favorite players I've used. Then we had obviously Garcia and Colon on the wings. We didn't really need a starting 11 quality winger, so I didn't sign any. So we didn't complete that objective. Financially, they wanted us to sell 2 players. I don't think we sold 2 players. I think we sold like 1 player. Again, we'll get to that in the transfers. Then sign 1 crucial player. We did do that, which we'll get into also again in a second in the transfers section. And then finish the season without any unspent transfer budget. As we go back, we still have 44 million euros in budget because we didn't really need that many players. Domestic success, reached the quarterfinal of the Cup. We obviously reached the semifinal and lost to Milan by 1 goal in aggregate. And then they want us to qualify for Europe again, which we did by finishing 5th again, qualifying for the Europa League that way. And technically, we also, by winning the Europa League, qualified for the Champions League, so pretty sick. And then continental success, they just wanted us to have fun, which we did because we won the final in epic fashion there. So that's why the board is pretty happy with us, even though we're going to miss 2 of the objectives. So in terms of transfers, let's go to transfer history, go to my club, and sort by date. So yeah, so our 1 sale was Ortea to Utrecht for 2 million euros. Then our incomings were obviously, we had Gagliolo and Radanovic retire. Then I also did a replacement for Ortea, were our 3 signings we needed to make. So for left back, I brought in Destiny Udogi. Obviously, as the Spurs connection, he's a homegrown player in Italian football, so I was like, seems like a good signing, obviously, and it's good potential and all that. And kind of poaching a player from like a lower tier Italian club seems like a wise idea, especially for only 8 million euros. Then this is another kind of player with like 2 dual eligibility, one of which being a Caribbean nation specialty. So these players. I apologize if these players ever end up watching this. Like you hear me pronounce your name, I butcher it. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna try here. His name is Jaquil, I think that's how you could pronounce it. Marshall Ruddy. Obviously, his primary, being from Toronto FC, his primary eligibility is Canada, but he's also dual eligible for Jamaica. So that's why he qualified for kind of the criteria we use to decide transfers. So we brought him in to be Zortea's replacement for a little bit more than we spent on Zortea, but it's a younger player with higher potential. I'll take it, spending that little bit extra to get someone like that in. And then our crucial player was obviously Radanovic retired, and what's his face? Deli Kari, obviously not that high overall, so I wanted like a starting left-footed, left-sided center back to partner up with Radu, and brought in let's see, what's your first name? Sorry, sir. Johan Vasquez from Pumas in the Mexican League, but he was obviously in the first season he was on loan at Genoa, which is why he again fits the criteria, and we were able to bring him in. So £12 million for him. I think the rest of the transfers is just loans and like me getting rid of youth players, right? Yeah, it's a loan, a loan. Yeah, so it's just guys that don't really matter. So that's all the transfer activity. So then kind of to wrap it up here, we'll look at the squad hub, look at the stats, see how everyone did this season. So Vid Belic, excellent season, 6.9 is pretty high, I'd say, for a goalie, especially with this team's propensity to give up goals. But yeah, so he had 7 clean sheets in total, whereas 4 of which were in Serie A, so he kind of finished tied for in the top 10 with a bunch of other guys with 4 clean sheets in the league. Fiorillo did a good job deputizing with a 7.1 overall rating from his 13 appearances, which is pretty great. Left backs, Destiny, pretty good appearances as well. Here's the center backs. Federico Fazio, obviously, he was another one retiring at the end of the season. He's 59 overall. Scored, as I said, 1 goal, which was in one of our matches against Lazio. Delicari, decent season. Well, the two of them didn't really play a lot. Vasquez and Radu played, obviously, the majority of the matches. Vasquez goal and assist. Radu, as I said before, the goal in the draw with Milan in the league. They scored a win against Helsinki in the. Jesus Louises. I talked about the Europa League final, but didn't talk about the rest of it. So let me quickly man, I'm so stupid. Let me quickly just breeze through how we got to the final. Yeah, so group stage, we were in a group with Arsenal, BSC Young Boys, and HJK Helsinki. We finished with 3 wins, 3 draws, top of the group. Then we skipped the preliminary round, obviously. Round of 16, we got matched up against Porto. So obviously all these teams I'd never played before. Salernitana's never played before, so I do in the randomizer 2 play, 2 slow sim, 2 quick sim. And in the round of 16 against Porto, I got the slow sim for the first leg, which ended up winning 3-2. And then play in the second leg, which we won 4-2 at home. Quarterfinals, we got matched against Bayern Munich, which I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. But we ended up getting play. I think, did we get play for both legs? No, we got quick sim for the first leg, which I was like, oh, Jesus, we're doomed. But we ended up drawing at 2-2 with a Destiny Udogi goal and a Garcia goal at home. Then we went to the Allianz and got play for the second leg, thankfully. And we were able to win 2-0. That was another Vid Belic masterclass. He, obviously keeping the clean sheet, and Bayern had 20 shots. They got, a 2-0 lead early on and parked the bus. And we're just, trying to repel their attacks, with Vid Belic doing an excellent job doing that. Then the semifinals, we got another German team, Hertha Berlin. And in the first leg, I got play, ended up winning 3-1. Then the second leg got slow sim. They took a 1-0 lead, right at the end of the match. Hopped in, tried to equalize, but couldn't. But didn't matter because we had the 3-2 aggregate lead to make it to the finals against Milan, which I obviously described in great detail earlier. But yeah, that's how we got there. So Radu's second goal, besides the one against Milan in the league, was, I think, in one of the group stage games against HJK Helsinki. Marshall Ruddy, decent season as a backup. Then here's our Clarper midfielders all popping in with a lot of goal contributions because of our style of play, which is very nice. They have a bunch of youth guys, which don't really matter. Ederson, he missed a while with a shoulder injury or something, or an ankle injury. Missed I think almost 2 months. Yeah, it was dislocated shoulder. Missed 2 months. But yeah, so I don't know. My headphone just died for a second, which is weird. But yeah, so Ederson missed 2 months. Then our forwards, obviously a lot of very good seasons. I think some of our midfielders actually might have ended up in the top 10 and stuff. So let me just double check that. Yeah, so Castanos finished first at assists with 10, and then no one else in those categories. Yeah, so it's just forwards. So Bennett, a good season from him. Perotti, 8 assists. He was another one who was retiring at the end of the season. Had 8 assists in the league, which was tied with a bunch of players in the top 10 as well. And then Garcia had 9 assists in the league, which was obviously second after Castanos, who had 10. So he was tied with Timo Werner and Atalanta player for that. And then Cologne, excellent season from him as well. But it's only 28 goals in all comps, 15 in the Europa League, which was third of those for the final. The 11 league goals. And then Hackford played a lot again in the league, so obviously we were I rotated during the group stage and during the knockout phase, kind of heavily rotated on the weekend fixtures after the Europa League matches. And he scored 17 in the league, which was like in the top enough for the top 10. And yeah, so he had an excellent season all around. But yeah, this is a lot. This Kit Quest career mode was a lot of fun, kind of building up this like smaller Italian club, getting them into Europe after a couple of seasons, and then making it all the way to the Europa League final here in this third season and winning it in such dramatic fashion. But another success, this cool maroonish reddish kit, which I wanted to try and hunt down, try and add to my collection. But so yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, this Kit Quest career mode as well, because I think it was a pretty cool one. Signed a lot of interesting players. Obviously brought some Tottenham guys like Udogie in, but I think Udogie was the only like current. Again, because I'm recording this pre the end of the season and like pre finding out if Tottenham get relegated or not. So I don't know like if he ends up staying or going this early in the summer, if we get relegated and whatnot. But I think he was the only current Tottenham player we signed during this one. So we ended up signing a lot of kind of interesting guys that like I wouldn't otherwise have used like in a normal career mode, which is why I like enjoyed creating kind of like coming up with this format for myself, because it makes it a lot of fun signing these like kind of unique guys. But yeah, so again, this is a lot of fun in terms of what's next on the channel. It should be a lot of fun, another lot of fun thing, because it's going to be me playing through, I think potentially trying to 100% one of my favorite games of all time, which is Yakuza 0. So I'm playing the Yakuza 0 Director's Cut Edition, which came out like a year ago or so, with like, I think it's supposed to have some like a little bit of extra cutscenes and stuff in it, which I'm looking forward to seeing what those would end up being. But yeah, Yakuza 0 is one of my favorite games ever, and I'm going to try and like 100% complete it. So that means like obviously being the story and doing all like the crazy fun side content and stuff, because obviously there's like the completion progression percentage meter in the game, and try to get it as close to 100% as I can. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's probably going to take me 30 years to complete, because that game is massive. So this will probably be the last. You might hear me for a while, because that one, like me like talking during episodes, we'll see. I'll try to do that as much as I potentially can, but if I can't, I can't. So you might be hearing my voice again for a long while, because that series is probably going to take a long time. So hopefully you enjoyed this series. Hopefully you check that the Yakuza 0 series, which is coming out soon. Will be coming out the day after this this video goes live. And yeah, hopefully like check out any other content on the channel if you enjoyed as well. And thank you for watching. And hopefully you check out other content as well. Thanks.
And this will test the mentality of any footballer. And he's been denied from the spot by the post. And confidently converted. Can he remain calm? He's gone for the Panenka, but he might be wishing he hadn't. In it goes. And the keeper taking care of the situation. A goal now, and his team will prevail. Oh, that's it! The final act in the drama. One team jubilant, the other distraught.
Well, what an ending to a very good tournament, and I think they fully deserve to win it. Maybe not in this manner, though, but it was great entertainment.
It certainly was, and they're not going to forget this in a hurry. A proud moment for everyone involved with the club, but for their opponents, it's a case of trying to forget and move on as quickly as possible.
Well, I think we should give them some credit too. They played their part in what was an excellent contest. Some of their football was brilliant.
Yes, fair play, Stuart. The party in full swing now. It's going to be quite the night of celebration here. They're very happy to be celebrating good times in the Europa League. And now the trophy awaits them.
Well, these are always great moments for any player. this is the culmination of a great tournament they've had. They fully deserve this victory. Every player played his part tonight.
This is what they've wanted. Now it's in their possession. The winners of the UEFA Europa League.
Well, wonderful scenes. The players are making the most of this. It's been a great competition for them.
Yeah, I think they have every intention of making this last as long as possible. One more trophy left, why not? Yes. And now they get to enjoy the moment with the fans who have made the journey here for the final.
Well, they'll be loving this. They really have backed their team throughout this competition. They have a great bond with the players, don't they? That's lovely to see.
Yes, it is all about a shared experience. These celebrations will run long into the night.
Well, they need to take all this in, don't they? These are moments to savour. It's been a great night for everybody involved.
You are looking at the UEFA Europa League winners. Oh, but no! Heroism flashed in front of his eyes. Couldn't take the... Real chance. And missing the chance to give them a bit of breathing space.
Well, that should have made it more comfortable, shouldn't it? But it's a wasted opportunity.
Well, there's a keeper on song.
Well, how did he stop that? That's just unbelievable.
In position. And he's kept it out, fully stretched, somehow reaching it. And Rebic has it. And the cross is very much on. And a goal to increase their advantage. It's a 2-goal lead now. And he does. He's thrown his team a lifeline. The belief is back. Can they keep it going? Not out of the woods yet. But no, when your goalkeeper comes up with a save like that late in the game, you have caused... Twists and turns in the closing stages, and it's anyone's guess who's going to lift. In the drama, one team jubilant, the other distraught.